Hello and welcome to Tarot with Tonja. This is 7 cards for 7 days, and we are looking at the week beginning Monday, March 4th and ending Sunday, March 10th. We have a new moon this week. I'll talk about that at the end of the astrological part. And we begin our week with the moon in Sagittarius, our Monday, and then by later in the afternoon it's moving into Capricorn. So we're going from fire to earth there. Capricorn is that very business oriented, very practical, can be very analytical. So if you have decisions that you need to make that fall in that realm, I'd wait till later in the day. And then by the time we get to Sunday, we begin our day with the moon in Pisces, and then later that afternoon, I believe it is, we move to Aries. So then we end up from water going into fire. So just think about those elements and what they support. On Monday, also, we have Mercury sextile Uranus. So it can be a good day for interesting ideas. You might have flashes of insight. And it also could be a little bit of a roller coaster feel because Uranus rules essentially the lightning bolt. So that's Aquarius, and coming in with very sudden insights. Sometimes feels crazy, sometimes feels genius. But, with Mercury being there with ideas and communication, that's why it could be very interesting and insightful, and also a little bit of a roller coaster. On Friday, we have Mercury conjunct Neptune. So Mercury in play again, and this time right by Neptune. Mercury moves quickly, and Neptune is toward the end of Pisces now. It moves slowly, so it'll be there for a while longer, year or two, I believe. But Mercury goes through it quickly, comes up to Neptune. So because Neptune is a very dreamy, creative, psychic sort of energy, it is not a good day for contracts, binding decisions, things like that. We could be prone to missing details. So it's better for the creativity, better for the compassion, the psychic energy. And then on Saturday, we have Mars square Uranus. And squares can feel a little tense, a little prickly. At the same time, we have the Sun sextile Uranus, which feels a lot better, more comfortable. And then we have Mercury entering Aries. So with that Mercury in Aries, it's going to facilitate a more direct and spontaneous kind of thinking and personal experience. Aries rules the self, it's the infant, it is quick to do things, it's fire, it's a fire element, so that's where we get that very direct and spontaneous kind of energy. And again, it's going to be affecting our thinking because of Mars being there and Mercury being there, and not Mars, just Mercury. And our courage could come to the forefront, a kind of pioneering spirit, and plans could also could change suddenly. So we want to try to stay flexible. Let's see. Then we have finally on Sunday, Mercury is sextile Pluto. So again, a comfortable energy, planet of communication, and a good connection with the planet of transformation. So it's a good day to seek cooperation and compromise, to try to communicate, to watch out for strong opinions, and you want to go with the flow to benefit all involved. And that same day, we have the new moon in Pisces in the early morning hours. So, as I mentioned earlier, the moon later that day will be shifting into Aries. So this new moon in Pisces, it's a good time to make wishes. You can look up wishes that are appropriate for that. You might try Jan Spiller. She did a great book on that. And you know, just in general with Pisces, we're back to it being ruled by Neptune. So the creamy, excuse me, the creative, the dreamy, might be creamy. The things that are more of a psychic nature, developing our intuition, using it, you know, painting, whatever, listening to music. Those are all good things for that kind of a new moon in Pisces. All right. So I'm using the Rider-Smith-Waite deck, and let's see. The first thing that jumps out at me is that we have a very masculine set of cards this time. There are a couple, one in particular is very feminine, one's a little bit more balanced, but all of the elements lean toward the masculine. So that's interesting right away. Let's just dive in, I guess. So the first day, Monday, we have the Two of Swords. So you do see a feminine figure there, but it's a masculine element, air. And it's reminiscent of justice because you have a blindfold on the person. The person is sitting with her back to the water, and that can be the unconscious. So trying to make decisions that perhaps are backed up from the unconscious, but also are more in the mental realm. There's some clarity there, and there's an impartiality there. So trying to keep like passions in a way out of it, to keep into the balance. It is connected to the High Priestess because it's a 2. So there could be a place for intuition in there, but also a lot of clarity. So on Tuesday, we get the Moon card. And of course, Monday is Moon Day, but here we got it on our Tuesday. And, you know, it's about mystery. Here we have some dog-like creatures, maybe a coyote. You've got your lobster crawling out. They're all sort of mesmerized by the moon or activated by it, kind of drawn to it. And we know the lunacy, as we can call it, the crazy, can really go up on a full moon. Well, of course, this is a week of a new moon, so we're approaching the dark of the moon right before that. So, you know, what is it that is mysterious to us right now? What is in the deep feminine that might be calling to us? Where do we need to maybe trust some internal processes? And that will, again, be very strong on Tuesday. Wednesday, we get to the only other major of this week, and that is the Lovers. And, you know, it can very much be about relationship. It can be contracts, you know, again, partnerships of all kinds. How are we in harmony with our own selves, even looking at the masculine and the feminine within ourselves? So, you know, you have to use your intuition and see how it might strike you that day, but where is there a place for looking at perhaps the contracts that we have with others? How we're getting along with others. And, you know, again, it could be very internal. We could be pulled in 2 different directions. It's a Gemini card, and maybe one twin wants to go this way, the other wants to go that way. So, you know, trying to find some balance, which I think that angel above is symbolizing. By Thursday, we're back to our minors and masculine energy. So here we have the 5 of Wands. So this is a fire kind of energy. So related to the instinct, that sudden, perhaps knowing I need to do this, not a thinking process, or, you know, feeling all fired up, you might say. Now, 5s connect to the Hierophant, and those are spiritual lessons. So, you know, here you have a group of 5. It could be 5 issues, 5 people, 5 things you need to do that are pulling you in different directions. It isn't a card that makes me too nervous because I think it's kind of good-willed intensity, goodwill, going back and forth. All right, I see it this way. No, I see it that way. Oh, somebody else sees it this different way. So, you know, how can all those competing views be aired, which could be very helpful. we continue with the fire on Friday. And now we are into the Eight of Wands. Some people connect this card to Cupid energy, the arrows of passion being shot at us, or us shooting them towards someone else. Of course, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be passion about a kind of project, an issue, some kind of energy that you would like to put out there again, or perhaps receive. And as an 8, it's going to be connected to the Strength card. So it could be, in a way, some kind of good use of our strength and aiming for something, going for it, putting that energy out there. That's our Friday. So we're back to the swords on Sunday. And yeah, this is our only royal or our people card for the week. And it's a double masculine because we have the king and then a masculine energy, air. So he sits there and looks pretty stern. This is an energy that can be very, very good with words, very sharp with words as well, and sharp with words. So hopefully it's being used as a striving for very precise, very clear, and useful information, and not, a little bit of slicing and dicing kind of energy, but it can be very discerning, very helpful, and hopefully comes out in that more divine masculine way of clarity and not bluntness. So our final day of the week on Sunday, we have the 9 of Wands. So 3 wands this week, 2 swords, 2 majors. So you can see why I said it leaned toward that masculine kind of energy. But counterbalanced, by that moon somewhat and the lovers. So when we get to this card, 9s are connected to the hermit. It could be a kind of retreat energy. I do feel this. We have perhaps a soldier or somebody who's been wounded in some ways, looking weary, needing a rest. And the card can indicate just that. Take a rest. My favorite way of reading it is to see it as an encouragement to find balance in our energy use. When do we save it? Or some people say keep our powder dry, or when do we use it? And so it's a very powerful energy. It's got all those wands, behind him. He's resting on the one, but they can be marshaled. So wary, or just making a decision to hold back for the moment and store that energy. All right, beloveds, I hope that really helps you. As always, take what resonates for you, leave the rest behind. We'll finish here with an oracle card, and I want to thank you so much for being here. All right, so I am using the Enchanted Blossoms, an Empowerment Oracle deck for this. And here we have inspiration. So the flower is the lupin and the butterfly is the goatweed leaf wing. So I'll just give you another little visual. Obviously they're very, artistically drawn. But they're both beautiful here. So let's see what our guidebook has to say. Lupinus means of wolves. As long ago this plant was thought to sap the nutrients out of the soil. This concept was proven false during the Roman period, when they began using the flower for fertilizer and to add nutrients to over-farmed soil. That was a fun fact for me. This more enlightened use saw lupin flourish and cultivated into Northern Europe during the late 1800s. Lupin is a legume and its seeds have been eaten for thousands of years. That was another new one for me. Lupins have recently seen a resurgence in use as gluten-free, high-protein flour. Lupins bloom in the summer and invite you to laze about in the warm evenings, imagining all the amazing things you want to do with your life. Make some quiet time to listen to your inner self for insight and inspiration. If you have trouble with this, take some time to refill your well, and that's just so important. There's just a lot of change that's happening right now. And some people say it's because we're shifting to the new earth and so forth, but it's a lot of internal energy use. So research and integrate ideas and experiences into your daily life that align with what you want to accomplish. Look at art and listen to music. Having some downtime allows the subconscious to mull over new thoughts and ideas. Journal and doodle your random and wandering thoughts. Inspiration can come at any time, wrapped in all things if we are open and waiting to receive it. So, wishing you the best week possible, beloveds. I'll see you next time.